from humble beginnings to learning from your failures to becoming a great success. What is your success story? Chip Baker, The Success Chronicles. What's your definition of success?
What's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another episode of the Success Chronicles, and we have Dr. Hedith Sauceda Upshaw.
Really
Did I say it right?
You got it right.
I've been practicing that. I don't want to mess that up.
That's really good.
So that's good. So I want to make sure that I got that right. Very thankful for her to come through and interview with us today. And we'll talk about what you do as far as your career and all of that later. But just kind of going into how we know each other. When I got to Conroe High School, I think it was when you just left to start your career climb.
Yes.
And so I didn't get to work with you, but I knew of you and heard a lot of great things about you. And you work with our district here, and then our sons were in the same taekwondo class.
Uh-huh.
And so got a chance to meet you and your husband and have a relationship with you guys. Really good people.
Thank you.
Really, really good folks. And so if you could just tell us a little bit, well, not just a little bit, but a lot about your life story.
Well, so I come from a big family, and my sister and I are first generation United States citizens. So when you look at my parents, overall, I think one time we counted them, we have over 73 cousins.
Wow.
And only a certain amount of cousins came to the United States with my parents, and only from Mexico.
Okay.
And only a certain amount of us have a college education. Graduated high school, have a college education. So when we came to this country, it was the dream of our parents to instill in us the opportunity. So the American flag to us means something very, very big, if that makes any sense. So I don't want to get it wrong, because since this is going to be put somewhere on YouTube or on Facebook, but there's only a certain, probably within my hands, of all our cousins that actually graduated high school and achieved some kind of college success. Actually, one of our youngest cousins, his name's Michael Zuniga, he was signed, he's his freshman year at UTSA doing shot put and discus, and it's like the whole family celebrated his success because of that. And that's kind of how we were raised. So ever since I was little, my father raised 5 females. So he raised my sister and I, but then 3 of my mom's 2 sisters and 1 niece. So there was 5 girls in the house, and my dad always taught us that. He said in Spanish, no te dejes, which means don't allow yourself to be cheated out of life. You go out and you accomplish something for yourself. So ever since we were tiny, we were told to achieve something, and whatever we did. It didn't matter whether it was school or whether it was work at home. We were taught an incredible work ethic, if that makes any sense.
Yes,
you
yes.
earn it. Nothing is given to you by just because you happen by the color of your skin or because you happen to need things. You have to go out and earn everything that you've accomplished. So I think as a young girl, that was just something that I grew up with. And, my sister and I, we have dedicated our life to a life of service. So we both work in education. And that's what I think is interesting, is most kids that grow up in an environment like we did, you end up being in a life of service because you appreciate so much what was given to you. And I knew that I needed to make a difference in education for other students because I felt we weren't given the opportunities that we needed to give. The little tiny small town that I grew up in, which I'm so proud to be a real Honda Bobcat, not everybody made it.
Right.
And it's because there was a mindset, like our community they pushed us, but not everybody, I don't want to say had the drive and desire, because they do, but it wasn't something that was there. And I feel we need to do that for all our kids. That's our job and what we do every day. So that's just how I grew up. And I have that inner desire and passion in my heart to give that opportunity to the next young gentleman or the next young lady to do something in life. You think about, why didn't a lot of people that I grew up with go out and do more things? I don't think we were given the opportunity. Like, you think about things like West Point and the Air Force Academy and all these things that were possible that the little hometown, we didn't know. You were either going to go out and be, an athlete star, or you wanted to be a doctor. But most kids thought, well, I can't afford to do that. But yes, you can.
If you want it, just go get it.
If you want it, just go get it. And so that's kind of been my mantra and drive. And I remember my high school principal telling me, you need to come back and do that one day. You need to come back in education and just do that for other children. So that's why I'm here, if that makes any sense.
I said too, just like you said, it was instilled in you to, whatever it is you want, you have to go get it. And that's a saying that I say all the time, and that's big. I say it to myself every day. Go get it. I mean, there's no doubt, if it's something that you want, something that you want to achieve, the mindset has to be go get it.
Yes.
Don't get distracted. Just go get it done. So you said you went to high school in Hondo?
Rio Hondo.
Rio Hondo.
It means deep river.
Okay. You went to high school in Deep River. And then from there, college?
We went to Sam Houston State.
Okay. And then after Sam Houston State?
Texas A&M University.
Texas A&M.
For my master's in education.
Okay.
And then I just finished my doctorate at U of H. So I'm a Bearcat, an Aggie, and a Cougar.
There you go.
And a Bobcat. Yeah.
There you go. That's good stuff. I think education is awesome, and taking the things that you've learned and experiences you've learned to help others. Just like you said, it's an amazing thing when you can give back. It's a great feeling when
it is a great thing.
When you can use the hard work, because you've put in blood, sweat, and tears, and sacrifices, and all of those things, and you can take that and use that to help someone else.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's nothing better than that, So if you could just kind of talk about your career. So after you got your bachelor's, then
I became a teacher, and actually Mr. Walter Jett hired me, and we have a building named after him now in Conroe ISD, and he hired me at the age of 19 to be a teacher, because back then that we needed bilingual education teachers, and I was bilingual. So he hired me in February. I didn't start working until August after I graduated, because they were in such need. I remember putting my resumes out there, and I had 27 phone calls for interviews. Yeah, that was unbelievable. So I started teaching at the age of 20, and I had I think 12 kids that year, and that was it. And it just wasn't enough. I felt that, and I did my due diligence. I did what I could. Lord knows, as a first-year teacher, I think sometimes we feel that it's just good for us to be able to survive. Sometimes we feel that we need to be perfect. We grow every day, we learn every day, we grow our craft every day. So I just thank God that the kids I taught my first year actually graduated high school, because Lord knows I wasn't the best. And I think that happens to all of us. We learn as we go. And so I did that for 2 years, and then I married my husband, and he moved me out to Van Horn, Texas. I don't know if you know where that's at.
I've heard of it, but I don't.
It's a tiny little town. The year before we moved out there, they had just gone to 11-man football. They had not.
Oh, wow.
It was so tiny. We had dial-up internet. We had dot matrix printers. I mean, and it was interesting. So we were out there a year while he did his training, and then I came right back to Conroe. And I then started working at Giesinger Elementary, where my kids go now, as a third grade teacher. I became a district math coach, which is people that help other people be good at math and in our classrooms. Then I was privileged to be a math coach at the same time. I was an assistant principal at Conroe High School. Two jobs. It just happened. To be given the opportunity, and Fred Richardson, allowed me that opportunity. Then from there, I was given the privilege to become an assistant principal at Runyon. Then I became the principal at that school. Then the bilingual education director for our district, and I did that job for a couple of years, and then did that and was interim CNI director for almost 2 years, did both. And then now I currently serve in that position as director of CNI. So, I think it's interesting that you had said, we were talking about that when you want something in life, you go get it. And I think that one of the things that we're blessed by where we work is that people see talent and they give you opportunity, because it wasn't like, I'm going to go get it. It just so happened because, once again, that work ethic and that drive, kind of people get attracted to that, and then, they give you the opportunity to lead in these type of positions to be able to influence.
And that's what I was going to say too. Like, yes, you get those opportunities, but just like you said, you don't get those opportunities if they don't see greatness.
That's right.
And so like you said, they see the work ethic, they see the passion, they see the drive, and despite, and this is, I've talked to someone the other day. We were talking about every opportunity I've had is not because of my qualifications. It's because of somebody thought highly of me and said, hey, he's all right. You might need to take a chance on that guy. And the same thing. When they see that you do things the right way, people will give you opportunities.
That's right.
And I think, like you said, this district is a great district that does that. I mean, there's so many people that are doing great things for kids, like yourself, and just in the position to help others help kids.
That's true. And sometimes, Chip, we don't even see those things in ourselves.
Right.
I can promise you that some of those opportunities that were given was like, what?
Me? For really?
It was scary.
Oh, yeah.
I've learned a lot. It was very humbling, because what people sometimes don't realize is, when you're given these opportunities, all those skill sets that you had before to be good in what you're currently doing, now you have to learn a whole bunch of new ones to be good in this position. And it's always hard to change that way and to mold yourself to what we call that next level of leadership, because that opportunity of leadership is no longer about you. It's about everyone else around you and about building those people around you. So that's very different. When you're in other positions, you think about coaching, right? Who are you building? You're building the kids. So you're consistently coaching those kids to be great as a team. That's leadership. That's why some of our best leaders are coaches, because that's a skill set that comes natural. But in education, that's sometimes, I think, a skill that people don't realize is that we need to have it. It's truly all about the people. And so while I was really good at the tasks and getting things done, I had to learn how to be good at all of that other stuff. And it's okay to say that, because we're not all perfect, right? And I think I've done okay.
You're doing it. I think too, it requires, like the humbleness, the growth mindset, the eagerness to learn and be better. We talked about that before the interview a little bit, as far as being open-minded and wanting to learn. You think, some think, well, hey, if I get this opportunity, then I'm set, I'm good. I don't think you want to be that way. I think you want to continue to learn and continue to grow, because if you do that, then now somebody else is beating you.
That's right.
And now you don't continue to move forward.
It's called grit.
There you go. There it is. That's the definition for it. So talk a little bit about your career. What are 3 things you have accomplished in your life that you're proud of?
Well, my first thing that I'm proud of are my children. I just have to say that. I think it's, you work your career in education, and not till you become a parent do you realize, That's what it's about.
It clicks.
And there is no manual for it, and I think it's the hardest thing I will ever do, but the best thing that I will ever do is be a mother to those two boys. And I think that drives me to make the education environment that they're in be the best that it can be, to make the education of tomorrow better for that generation, not only of my children, but the children that surround it. So I have to say that my kids are one of the proudest things I've ever done, and because they will challenge me, they will test me, and they will make me a better person and a better mother. I think another thing that I'm very proud of is that family is important to me, and sometimes you can accomplish all these things in life, but at the end of the day, that's what's going to be there for you.
Hey,
so I give time. Yes.
That is well.
It's true.
That is well stated. Like, none of that other stuff matters if that's not taken.
That's right. And just two parents that instilled that love of God,
Yes.
and love of family, and that they come first, and not to forget that. So I think that I'm proud of that. I'm proud of being a good daughter. I'm proud of being a good wife to my husband. So those things, and that's all personal. But career-wise, if I were to say what I'm proud of the most is, I'm an athlete at heart. And there was a lot of things just growing up in our small town. I think of, man, I could have been a great soccer player. Okay, we didn't have it. We didn't have that opportunity. I mean, look at the women's soccer team. I'm like, man, I was a great runner. Got the body type for it, that kind of thing. And so I kept that in my life, my whole entire life. So I still do fitness classes on the side, and I did not compromise on being, I guess, successfully whatever I do, and keeping that a part of my life, because that's my outlet. And I think everybody needs to have that, no matter if you craft or you knit or you sew. I just happen to kick the air and punch the air and, make people do push-ups. So that's just something to me that's important, because you can have that. You can have that too, and you need to have something for yourself so that you can give to others. And then I'm really proud of having the opportunity to influence teachers, and to influence them to do the right thing for kids. And I know that in our district, we don't get to keep all the teachers we hire. They go on to do better, bigger, and better things, but they were a part of our district that expects them to just be the best for our kids, because that's who we serve, is those children. So to think about long time ago when I started with 12 kids, and now that you influence almost 60,000 and all those teachers, that's a true accomplishment. Because it's about every child, and that we meet them where they're at, no matter what they come with. Because if I wouldn't have had that, or you wouldn't have had that, we wouldn't be where we're at. So every child that comes to our doors really, truly deserves that. So I'm extremely proud to be part of a team that influences that in our district.
That's awesome. What is your definition of success?
So I'm going to go to work for this one.
Okay.
I think it hits you at one point in your life where you go, how come this isn't working? And a true definition of success is, it comes in many forms. But I think that I truly one day realized that I was responsible for making people happy when they came to work. And you know how you think, well, I can't control someone else's feelings, or I can't, you can't, but you can make the environment
right,
that they love what they do. And you do that by loving what you do. If I love my job, and if I don't love it, I don't belong there. So I think that that's success. Success is people. Success is connecting. Success is motivating and influencing. Because that's really all we have control of, right? So you can have a vision, and you can have a path, and you can have a compass point and say, I'm going to have this plan. And that's all great, but you can end up and you're over there by yourself, and nobody's followed you. So it's really about motivating other people, influencing other people, giving that passion a little bit to everybody else, and moving them with you to do the right thing, whether it's in life, whether it's in my children, whether it's in my friendships, whether it's in the gym with the people that I work out with, or whether it's in school. I think that's success. It's not truly always academic. And when I think about that, the true success for people is that they persevere over all the obstacles that they've had in their life. And that doesn't always come in book smarts. It comes in giving them all those skills to overcome whatever they've encountered. So that's truly what we should be doing. So that's what I think is success.
That's good stuff right there. Deep. All right, what do you think it takes to achieve success?
Confidence. So what if I don't have confidence, right? How many of our children or our adults just think, oh, I can't do it? You know, I recently have been reading this book called Grit and Perseverance, and it's by Angela Duckworth. And it talks about what's the difference between, and it talks about Harvard graduates, and it talks about kids in West Point. So what's the true difference between kids that came to West Point a long time ago and they had all the smarts and the physical capability, but they dropped out after the first week? And what's the difference between all these kiddos that go to some of the Ivy League schools of our country and then they don't make it? And that's what's called grit. It's truly just saying, I'm going to do it no matter what. And I'm going to persevere no matter what. So in order to have that success, you've got to be able to fall. And know that you're going to fall and you're going to fall. And it's about how you get up. And I think that that's what happens to people is that when they fall, sometimes they don't know how to get up. But everybody falls at a different age. Somebody falls when they're small. Somebody falls when they're, their teenage years. Remember those? We made it, thank goodness. But we fall during that. Some of us fall, in our early 30s. Some of us fall late in life. But we have to know that that's part of getting better. And you're not going to get better unless it hurts. And what I mean by that is that you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, how am I going to be better? That's hard. It's very hard to say, I'm not good enough, or I'm not doing that right. And so I think that true success is saying, it's okay to fall, it's okay to better myself, it's okay to challenge myself, because that's going to make me persevere over whatever is accomplished. We went through this Leadership Montgomery County. I'm part of the group this year, and they made us jump on this huge swing, okay? And so you get to choose how high you go up on the swing. And then you pull a lever and it drops you. I can't tell you how many feet. So I joined with this girl. I'm like, we're going all the way to the top. Oh yeah, we did all that. We're going all the way to the top. Yeah. Okay, so we get up there, and I can't even pull the lever, right? Because I was scared. And so she had to, the whole weight has to hold it as they're pulling it up. It gets harder to hold it, right? And she's holding it, I'm trying to hold it with her, but I can't even open my eyes. And we get all the way to the top, and we pull it together. And it's that fear of falling. And the moment we let go, this freedom.
Yeah.
It felt so good. And if I could bottle that feeling in a bottle and have people drink it, they wouldn't be afraid to achieve success. Because it's like, once you fall, you're scared, but as soon as you come out of it, you're like, holy cow, I can do this. So I think that's how you achieve it. That's how you achieve success, knowing that it's not going to always be pretty. In whatever you do, whether it's with a relationship or with a job, or even with your own children or your own family, it doesn't get better until you have to go through a little bit of difficult times.
Well, let me ask you this. I'm gonna go off the script.
Yeah. Okay.
You kind of talked about, and I've been kind of processing this too. Just in every time I interview someone when we talk about success, I just hear different angles. Do you think that you talked about achieving success? It requires confidence, and you also talked about your family, how there was so much love, and how you were taught those certain values. Would you agree that in your life it's helped you to give you confidence to know that you started with that foundation of love and that foundation of godly principles and teaching you to do things the right way? And in any challenges that you've had that's been difficult, you can revert back to that and say, hey, I've done this, I got it, I can do it. It helps you push through that because you know that those people believe in you and they love you. Is that
Absolutely. So
okay.
It's almost like you have your safety net of that. But
yes.
When you say, so yes, if you were to ask me if that is that part of it, having a solid foundation, having a family that was always like, you can do it, you know, having a supportive husband, having friends that were there, having people that believed in me when I didn't think I could do it. Yes, that is all very important. But you know, I do want to make sure that people that are seeing this video or young children that don't have that in their life, that they realize that just because you didn't have that growing up doesn't mean you can't achieve it. You get it through other people. And that's why it's so important to do what we do in our job, because the young generation needs that. They need that, what we call in Spanish, apoyo. That means that support to be able to help them achieve that. Because what's sad is there is a lot of people, a lot of young kids that don't have it. And so I would hate for them to think that just because they don't have it, how do they persevere? Or I can't have it, or I wasn't raised like that, so I don't have those privileges. I don't see that as an excuse. I have this undying faith and hope in that every person can achieve. It doesn't matter where you came from, but you have to have an honest understanding that everything that you grew up through, you have to understand that to be able to overcome it. Because what happens is, it does get in your way. Remember we talked about that you have to have that reality check all the time. Sometimes our own upbringing, kind of gets in the way, and it hinders us because we put social biases on people that are our beliefs. That doesn't mean that they're their beliefs. You got to take them for what they are, and then you got to grow them from there. So we just have to, know that everybody comes to the table at a different time, and sometimes they don't have all what we call the resources, but we can find them. We can find them for them.
I like too how you said everybody, at some point you're gonna fall.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's a big thing as far as growing, understanding the fact that, hey, like, you're gonna fail. Like, you're gonna make some mistakes.
And that's okay.
Yeah, nobody's perfect, but that's okay. But how you get through that is how you get up and respond to it. And like you said as well, I think that's a big thing too. Being able to look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I messed that up. I blew that, But guess what? What am I gonna do to make it better? What am I gonna step up to the plate and do to make it better? Throw that pitch at me so I can knock it out.
Absolutely.
And that's what you have to have, grit.
And so many athletes, like world famous athletes, they have it.
Right.
And so how do they have it and we don't, right? Why do they have it and they don't? Well, some people just have a fiber in them. It's a little bit thicker than others. But they're those people that are timing themselves when they're swimming, right? Or they're gonna, they're pacing themselves. So it's just, that's what they do. Good athletes, they're either timing themselves for a run, or they're checking how fast they can swim, or they're consistently going back at shooting free throws to see how great they can do it. Consistently, always. So why is it that the other millions of people don't do that? Not because they don't have goals, just because they don't maybe want to challenge themselves to be able to go, okay, so I'm going to fail, and then how do I get better? So I think that that's the biggest barrier for everybody, is the fear of not doing it right. What's going to happen? So I might as well accept it. Yeah, and just move forward, and just, once again, how you pick yourself up with grace is probably the most important thing that we can do.
Well, thank you so much for interviewing with us. It was a really good interview. A lot of deep nuggets that people, I think, can take and use in their life. And I'm just encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, keep pushing and making a difference in the lives of children. Because you do. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Success Chronicles. We'll see you next time. God bless.